Hi everyone, this is Kim from KILA Create Printables and welcome to this tutorial. Today I'm working with the Antique Couture journal kit and I'm going to try something a little bit different. I've not tried this before. So what I've done is I've taken some pages and some papers from the kit and I've actually printed them on some Calico fabric. And the way that I did that was I used some sticker paper and I stuck the paper to the fabric and then I ran it through my printer. So then I just peeled the sticker paper off the back and the fabric came out with the lovely images on them. So I'm planning to also use this fabric here. I found this tote bag at my local thrift store and I've just deconstructed it so that I can use the fabric. Because this kit has a lot of lovely French ephemera in the backgrounds of the pages, when I saw this I thought that would be the perfect fabric to use on the cover. So I've also cut my boards ready. So I've got two boards that I've cut at 16 centimeters by 22 centimeters, and then I've cut a piece for my spine that is 5 centimeters by 22 centimeters, which is it's roughly a 2-inch spine. And I've already marked where my holes are going to be and I've punched those holes because I'm planning to use some eyelets on the spine. So sit back and grab a cup of tea or coffee or your preferred drink and follow along and I'll see how I go putting this cover together. Okay, so I'm really happy with this and how this has turned out. I think it looks really lovely and it feels really nice with the fabric on the cover. So yes, I'm very pleased with this. But before I get to sewing in my signatures, I just wanted to run through with you again how I printed on the fabric to get this lovely effect. So what I have is some Calico fabric, and I've given this a wash, and then I ironed it. This is a very large piece, so I just ironed it where I was going to use it. And I've got a piece of sticker paper that is currently stuck to this at the moment that I haven't yet cut out, but that's all I did, was I stuck sticker paper to the fabric, and then I cut around the edge of the sticker paper to make it A4 size so that I could then run that through my printer. So the sticker paper that I've used is the Averix brand, and I got this on Amazon. I think it's a box of 100 sheets. So that's the sticker paper that I've used, and I found that I could actually use that a couple of times, just as long as it was still sticky enough to hold the fabric so that it didn't get caught up running through my printer. And I actually did quite a few test runs just to figure out which page I wanted to use and how the color would look. And I did actually have a little bit of trouble with my printer. That's why this one's ended up with lines through it. But once I got the page correct that I really wanted to use, I then just peeled the sticker paper off the back of the fabric, and I could just use it as a normal piece of fabric. So I just thought that I would just run through that again with you, just in case you weren't sort of clear at the beginning how I did that. So I just sort of suggest that maybe you just experiment with this and sort of make sure that your printer is capable of taking something that's a little bit thicker than a normal sheet of paper. All right, I'll put all this aside and we'll look at putting the signatures in to this lovely cover. So I've actually prepared 3 signatures off camera, and what I've used here are the journal pages and papers from the Antique Couture kit and the add-on kit, and I've got 8 sheets in each signature, and I've just arranged them in a way that I am pleased with. So I would normally use, when I'm sewing my signatures in, wax thread, but today I wanted to use some embroidery floss because I think that this will match nicely with the rest of the journal. I also wanted to try, instead of having my stitches running vertical along the spine, I want them to run crossways, just because I'm not entirely happy with the placement of my eyelets, and I sort of think that if I have them running vertically, it might just draw attention to the fact that they're not quite perfectly straight. So I thought I would try and sew my signatures in so that they go crossways. So let's see how I go with this. Okay, so I've sewn the signatures in. That was a little bit of trial and error because I've never actually done it this way before, and there's probably a better way, but I sort of couldn't really work it out in my head how else to do it. So I might look into that and possibly try a different way next time. The embroidery thread that I used was kind of slippery, so I found that the knots came undone. So what I did was I just ran some glue down the center here to make sure that they don't come undone. I'm not really a fan of how this looks, so I think when I get to decorating this journal, I'm going to do something over the top of that to cover that up, because I just don't really like the way that that looks. And also, if I glue something over that, it might also make it a little bit more secure. I'm really happy with how this cover turned out though, so I'd like to thank you for watching this tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed crafting along with me as I made this Antique Couture journal. Don't forget to check the description down below for links to my Etsy store, and come and find my Facebook group because you can join in lots of crafting fun and download a stack of freebies.